Good morning, everybody. Happy long weekend. It is a Monday morning, and I am here with Margret Dennis from Evolv Coaching. And we are here again with our coaching corner, Monday morning coaching corner. And first of all, I want to say good morning to Margret. Good morning, Margret.
Good morning, Karen. Happy long weekend.
Happy long weekend to you. Did you have a good one so far?
So far, so good. The weather's been amazing. We've been out with the dogs a lot. We've been getting a lot of done. I cleaned my car yesterday. Yeah, it hasn't been clean for a while. No, it's been actually one of those as we've been talking about self-care in the last few episodes, I'm like, this has been a self-care weekend for me because I've spent the time catching up on all the stuff that I haven't been able to do, like laundry and vacuuming. And I know it sounds really weird that that's self-care, but for me it makes me feel more settled. And so this weekend's been all about self-care in the doing of things versus self-care in the resting of things. But
Right.
it's been a great weekend. Today though, after our call, it is definitely a relaxing go for a walk, enjoy the sunshine day. And how about yourself?
It's been busy. We got some patio furniture and put that together. And once it was together, just spent the afternoon relaxing and
Nice.
just enjoying the day, really. It took a few hours to get that together, but once it was together, we definitely
Nice.
enjoyed it once it was together. So, and I think that's the recipe for the rest of the afternoon. A few
Nice.
jobs this morning and then not much this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I hope everybody else has had an opportunity to do that too. We can get so caught up in the do, we forget to relax. But sometimes in the process of that, doing things that we need to catch up on that create stress and create anxiety
Mm-hmm.
is a good opportunity to get them done.
I find now that I've got all those things out of the way, today is just a day to
Yeah,
just
that's
relax,
it. Yeah,
read a book, go for a
yeah.
walk, maybe have a bath later. I don't know.
There you go.
We'll
Take
see.
that
We'll
pressure
see.
off your shoulders, don't you? When the
You
to-do list
do.
builds up, it takes that pressure off the shoulders so that you can actually feel like you can actually sit and breathe and enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
listen to the constant reminder inside
Mm-hmm.
your own
Mm-hmm.
head.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, this morning we thought we'd do something a little different. Now, I have some great I am affirmation cards, and they were created by Christina Hearns, and I've used these very often on Rebels Compass, or sometimes I even use them with clients. So if they're stuck, sometimes it gives them, they can pull a card, and it's a great starting point for a conversation. So today, the card I pulled is I am open, and I'm just going to read what's on the back. It says, you are now open to receive information to assist you on your journey called life. It may be in the form of a message in a book, an animal totem, or a complete stranger. The universe is asking you to keep an open mind and an open heart and trust the process.
Hmm. I love that.
I do
I
too,
love that.
because we can get so caught up in asking, praying, and never see the signs that are actually
Mm-hmm.
sent to us in a
Mm-hmm.
form of a book, a random conversation, an animal totem, or something like that, that actually gives you the direction and the message that you've been asking for.
Mm-hmm. I have had that happen a few times. I'm sure
Yeah,
you have too.
many.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting because that's a lot of what I teach in the vision board workshops that I do, right? Is you ask for what you want, you believe you can get it, and then you have to be open to receive it. And that is exactly what you were just talking about, is you have to be open to seeing the signs, seeing the messages that are coming in, noticing what's around you instead of just going tunnel vision through what it is you think you should be doing. Because sometimes there's
Mhm.
some really amazing opportunities that present themselves. And if we're not really open and paying attention, we miss those.
Absolutely. And my first question to anybody that is in that asking mode is, do you really believe that you are deserving of what you're asking for? And if you do believe that you are deserving of it, then just sit and wait for the sign opportunity. But if you're asking for something and you don't believe that you are deserving of it, then you're never going to see the signs.
No, no, you're not. You're not. You need to be open, and it could be as easy as hearing lyrics in a song,
Yeah.
reading a passage in a book that all of a sudden is like revelation, right? For me,
Hmm.
I get a lot of things that come to me in dreams. I'll wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I have a book beside my bed. I just write everything down. I'm like, oh, these are some great ideas, because if you don't capture them, they're gone.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had, yeah, there was a book that I'd heard about last fall, and it kept all of a sudden started appearing for a little bit. And then the last month, I have seen advertisements for the books, pop-ups on Facebook, pop-ups on Instagram, people talking about this book everywhere. So I finally went and bought the book. I'm really glad I did. But it was like, okay, I get the message. It's there now, right? It could be as simple as that, that all of a sudden you're seeing stuff everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's a repetitive. Take
Yeah.
notice.
Well, exactly, exactly. I mean, that same scenario happened to me a number of years ago. I can't remember whether I bought the book or I was given the book, but it was from Brandon Bayes, and it was the journey work. And
Mm,
the journey work was going underneath the emotion. So let's say the emotion was anger, then what's underneath that? Then
hmm
what's underneath that? What's underneath that? What's underneath that? And I absolutely love this book. I read it twice. And I said out loud, I would really love to do this training. I'd really love to do this training.
hmm
And the following day, I went to work and I opened the newspaper. And on the second page I opened was an advertisement to say that Brandon Bayes was actually coming to Ottawa and was doing a workshop the following weekend. And I remember
Wow.
jumping up and down going, okay. And I actually booked into that training course. But had I not been open to that, I would have just put that down to, oh, well, that's a coincidence. Wow. You know,
hmm
there's no such thing as coincidences.
No,
Things
things
come
happen.
to us for a reason. And because I was open and I'd already had that awareness,
Hmm
gave me the opportunity to do a course that I'd said while I was reading the book repeatedly and out loud after I'd finished the book, I'd really love to do it. So I wonder how
hmm
many times that's happened for anybody that's listening to this.
hmm hmm It's I've had that happen to me a few times too.
Mm.
Um, Actually, very recently, it was, I think, back in March. I was at the Soulful Camp, where I go and I teach at a women's retreat. It's amazing, and I love what they do for the women. But I found that the women that I coach, oftentimes we end up back in childhood and teen years, that there's issues. And so I asked the women, I'm like, do you have teen camps? And they're like, no. So I'm like, oh, I think that would be a really great idea. And I'm not kidding. That weekend, I had another woman there approach me and say, I'd like to do that with you. And now we have two running this summer. And it was literally a couple of months ago that we decided to do that. And now it's like out there. But it was a
Absolutely.
decision. It was like, I felt it in my soul that it was so important to do. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. No idea how, but this is what's happening. And it was just, it happened so fast, but everything that I needed to make it happen fell into place.
Yeah.
I had the right person approach me. She's amazing as a partner to do this. And then we've had so many people come forward to sponsor and participate. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And to be part of this amazing thing. And it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't have just been open to the
Open to
process,
receive.
right?
Yeah.
I could have said, oh, this was a really great idea, but I don't know who's going to do it. Instead, I was like, this is really cool. And I think I'm going to do it. And then it was like everything just
Everything was
came in.
presented to us.
Hmm
Yeah, we hold ourselves so back so much. Like I said, we say I want something, I want something, I want something, and when we're presented with it, either we ignore it or
hmm
the fear of actually stepping into it
hmm
takes a bigger control. So we let the opportunity slip by. And
hmm
the opportunity may show up again later on, but the same thing, we either embrace it or we let the opportunity slip by and then
hmm
continually repeat in our heads, I ask and ask and ask and it never happens, or I pray
hmm
and I pray and I pray and it never shows up. It's because
Mhm.
the opportunity arose, but the fear stopped us actually stepping into what it was that we wanted to create.
Mhm. So how do we get past that fear? That's a big question. I'm sure everybody out there is like, "Well, I don't know how to do that."
Exactly, exactly. And I know for myself, so for anybody that's watched Rebels Compass for a very long time, knows that Rebels Compass was born out of me facing a fear.
Mhm.
And I was always told from my early 20s, 30s, you'd be really good at doing X, Y, and Z. You'd be really good as a coach. You'd be really good at talking in public. You'd be really good at this. And I was terrified, like terrified, to the point where
Mhm.
my throat would close, my hands would sweat, my entire voice would quake. And the very thought, even though inside of me it was something that thought, oh, that would be really cool, I'd love to do that because there's something I want to share,
Mhm.
fear took control. The fear took control of me, and it controlled me for another 20 years
Mhm.
and stopped me stepping into something that now I look back at that and go, wow, I know everything's in divine timing, but also it's that, oh, wow, I held myself back from that so long. So a couple of things that I did. So first of all, one of the things that I had was hypnosis.
Mhm.
So I had hypnosis to support me in my fear of speaking in public. And then I just jumped into the fear. Now,
Mhm.
the thought of doing a video and actually putting out there was terrifying. And to be able to just do it and break through that 5 seconds, excuse me, once you've done it once, you know you can do it again.
Mhm.
Have you had an opportunity like that?
I've probably had a lot of those opportunities going forward. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of an example. I think part of it too, I think was when I started my business. So for me, when I went out on my own as a coach, I was a brand new coach, and there's this fear that, well, I'm not, I've just been certified as a coach. What can I bring to the table? People aren't going to take me seriously. I'm not going to charge enough money because, you devalue your worth as a
Yeah.
coach. But what I realized is that being a coach is a passion, and I love it. And but for advertising for myself and getting
Oh,
out there, like, I could talk up the greatest restaurant in the area, I could talk up all my friends, I could do
agree.
all of those things, right? But that imposter syndrome sat
Yeah.
inside of me, that fear that if I go out there, people are going to judge me, they're going to laugh at me, they're going to go like, who do you think you are to be that person? I actually did get a couple of those comments when I worked in grief. They're like, well, who do you think you are working in grief? And I was like, well, would you like my experience that comes with that? But at the same time, I knew that I was having an impact on my clients. And for a while, I stayed in my professional bubble, right? In Evolv Coaching. So I only was on my professional LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook under Evolv Coaching. It took me until this past year to actually get comfortable going out into my personal contacts,
Yeah.
right? And I think I wasn't so worried about being judged by people I didn't know, but I was really afraid of being judged by people that did know me. And because now I was showing them a completely different side, a completely different part of my life. And I wanted people to accept it. And I wanted people to be excited for me. I know that's unrealistic to think everybody will, but I kept my fear inside. And I think it was because part of me felt like I don't have enough experience yet. I haven't been doing this long enough. People are never going to come to me, all of these things. But once I started getting out of my own way and putting things out there, now I cross promote on both platforms. It took a couple of times for people to say, "Wow, that's amazing what you're doing." I only needed to hear it once or twice, and then I'm like, "Okay, here I go." Now
Yeah.
my next thing is doing like a lot more live videos, which I'm working on. I'm really good at speaking like this. Podcasts, I love them. Getting up on a stage when it's planned, I can do that. But doing impromptu live things on social media, that's something I'm tiptoeing into.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's fear. It's 100% fear. There's nothing on the other side that I can't, and I know that.
Absolutely.
It's just actually taking the leap and doing that first couple to get them under your belt. Go, yep, I know I can do this.
Yeah. And it's recognizing the fear. Everything that you've just said, I completely 100% identify with. Completely.
Hmm.
Completely. Because like I said, I can promote the yin yang out of anybody else. But my
Hmm.
biggest struggle has been promoting myself. And part of the process for that was always, it's better to be seen and not heard. Right?
Hmm.
So then you don't open yourself up to experience. Then you don't open
Hmm.
yourself up to opportunity. Then you don't open yourself up because you that little voice is still in, like you say, imposter syndrome, or I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to talk about everybody else, but I'm not going to talk about me. And
Hmm.
we lose so many amazing opportunities by us not stepping into our authentic self. And that's something that I have started to embrace myself just this year,
Hmm.
of actually saying, this is what I do and I can support you. I have actually said that meeting somebody, which I would never have done before. They
Hmm.
opened the door and that was an opportunity. But there's other ways. So breaking the fear is the biggest way of being open.
Hmm.
And it doesn't have to be anything big like doing a big video or
Hmm.
putting yourself out there on live,
Yeah.
for everybody to see. But one of the questions I would ask you is, what one thing can you do today that moves you forward for tomorrow into what it is that you want to create? And if there's one fear that's holding you back today, what is that one fear? Where does it stem from? Where do you feel it? What is that fear actually telling you? Do you
Hmm.
believe it?
Hmm.
And if you don't believe it, then why aren't you moving forward and just take a baby step? Because
Hmm.
each baby step is going to change the trajectory of your course hugely if you do that on a daily basis.
Hmm. 100%. And every little small step actually opens you up to more opportunity,
Mhm.
right? When you're in action, no matter how small it is,
Yeah.
the universe looks and says, oh, so you mean business? Well, let me just throw a few things at you for opportunity and see which one's going to land. And all of a sudden, that's what I found is I know I've done a bunch of sales training with people to say, how do you grow your business? How do you do this? And one of the things is, oh, call your top 100. I was terrified. And I still to this day do not do that. That's not me. It's not the authentic me. But when I have figured out what works for me and I started doing that little by little, I only needed to open that door a crack. And all of a sudden, it was like this flood of opportunity that came forward. And I'm like, wow, if I can open that door full, look at what might be coming. Right. And I think sometimes we get scared of what's that going to look like because we've never been there before. Right. It's almost that fear of success and that fear of actually, like, what if it happens? I really want this, but now what? What happens if?
Mhm.
Um, but and so go at your own pace, but take those steps, little baby steps. You don't have to make like 15,000 phone calls a day. Make
Yeah.
one if that's what you need to do, or, send that one email or talk to that one neighbor, or, whatever it is that you're trying to move towards and this opportunity that you want, do some research. Even you don't even have to talk to anybody, you can do some research into what it is, but focusing your action and attention on what it is that you want in whatever action that is will always move you forward.
Absolutely.
Always, always, always move you forward.
Absolutely. And one of the things about moving forward like that, the reticular activator that's in the brain is
Hmm.
it's the compass to the brain.
Hmm.
So I'm going to use an example for this. So when I bought my lime green car, there was no other lime green cars on the road. I
Hmm.
very rarely ever saw a lime green car. Now my reticular activator is activated in the lime green car. I wanted my lime green car. I got my lime green car. Now I see lime green cars everywhere because my brain is programmed now to notice lime green cars.
Hmm.
It's like anybody that was ever pregnant, would say, as soon as you get pregnant, you notice everybody that was pregnant, but before that, you
Hmm.
never did.
Hmm.
So this reticular activator in the brain is the compass
Yeah.
to the brain that will then send out a signal for you to notice everything it is that you're looking for and bring that to your awareness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's another way of being open. What is it you say you want? Do you want a new car? What kind of new car do you want? Do you see that new car on the road all the time? Because now you've programmed your brain and everything else to only notice that car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And that's why vision boards work.
Yes.
I just want to say, because when you put those images up there and you focus on them every single day, and you're focusing and you're paying specific attention and you're starting to take steps towards that, that's what your brain's focused on.
Yep.
Whatever you put in as your main focus, that's what it focuses on. And 100%, I was the same way. When I was pregnant, everybody around me was pregnant. Whereas before I was pregnant, no. Same with the cars. And even the same thing about what if you're planning a vacation, right? I want to go to Costa Rica or I want to go to Spain. All of a sudden, you're going to start seeing ads and promotions for that because you've decided that's what you want to do. Yeah. So it's incredible when you start focusing on certain things
Mm-hmm.
that you really truly on a very soul level want. That's when they start showing up.
Mm-hmm. The other thing about remaining open is certainly listening to the conversations that are around you. And is there a direction in the conversation around you too?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you're somebody that likes affirmation cards,
Mm-hmm.
or you can pull one every morning and journal on it. It's going to be, that's one of those steps in moving forward. If you journal on it, what does it bring up for you?
Mm-hmm.
What's your focus? What's your direction? Is it something that you really want?
Mm-hmm.
Because very
Yeah.
often we can get something that we say we want, and then when we've got it, we didn't really want it in the first place. Just thought we did.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we get moving and it's like, but I really wanted this and I got this. And then this that you end up getting actually is better than what you thought you wanted in the first place.
Mm-hmm. That's something to be very aware of when we do the asking, or praying. Be open to say this or something better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because we can get so focused on something that we think we want based on our emotional energy at the time.
Mm-hmm.
What we actually need is something more than that.
Mm-hmm.
We need
Yeah.
a push in a different direction. So
Mm-hmm.
certainly being open to this or something better is an opportunity too.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't always come the way that we want it to, does it?
No. No.
Tell us about your bathroom, Karen. How that came about.
So I was saying I'd really like a new bathroom. I'd really like a new bathroom. And I did my vision board with Margaret, which I highly recommend, by the way, for anybody looking to do this, to book in and do a vision board event with Margaret. And on my vision board was my new bathroom, and hence the burst pipe underneath my bathtub and the construction site that I now live in. It didn't just evolve into a new bathroom, it's evolved into having all of the floors ripped up through most of the house. And yeah, it's one little thing led to multiples of bigger things. So
Mm-hmm. And you'll be left with a brand new bathroom and brand new floors.
yeah,
So
exactly.
you're getting even a better upgrade than what you were expecting.
I know. All I wanted was a new bathtub.
Yep.
No,
Now
the
you get
whole thing.
everything. That was the or something better.
Yeah, something better was, yeah. It's funny when that comes up and you go,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay. That's happened to me so many times where I've said I've
Mm-hmm.
wanted something and got shoved or violently pushed into a different direction and ended up with something completely different.
Oh, 100%. It was funny. I remember a long, long time ago, we were visiting friends in in their apartment, and I thought, "Oh my goodness, this apartment is just beautiful. High ceilings, creaky floors, lots of character." I'm like, "Oh, I would love to live in a place like this." Fast forward 10 years, I was living in that apartment. It was the weirdest coincidence how it all worked out,
Yeah.
but I was like, "Huh,
And you
10
know that
years
it's a
ago."
coincidence. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence, but it and that was divine timing as well, because I had decided I needed to get an apartment for my daughter and I. I'm like, we've been staying with my parents for a bit. I'm like, I need to move out. I need a 2-bedroom apartment. A friend said, "Oh," I'm like, I know he rents apartments, and I knew it was that one that I had seen before, and I called him. I'm like, "Hey, looking to move in. Do you have it?" And he goes, "Oh, I just got notice that this one's coming free." I went, "Okay." So Lily and I went and saw it, and literally, I'm like, "And when can I have it?" He goes, "November 1st." I'm like, "That's the day I wanted to move out anyway." So it was like boom, 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 and it happened within 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
It
That's
was
another thing
incredible.
about being open. It happens very quickly. If it's in the flow,
Hmm.
go. If
Hmm.
if it's not flowing, there's a reason it's not flowing. Don't push,
Hmm.
because there may be something better coming along. You just have to be open to see it. Now, at the
Hmm.
beginning, we also mentioned animal totems, or in the
Yes.
card, it mentioned animal totems. And for anybody that's not aware of animal totems, if an animal crosses your path, specifically when you're driving, like for 3 days straight, in the exact same portion of the road, I had a rabbit run out right in front of my car and go straight across the road in the exact same direction 3 times in a row.
My goodness.
And I'm going, okay, I'm looking for the rabbit. So
Yeah.
me, if something shows up to me on more than one occasion, usually they say if something shows up 3 times, pay attention,
Hmm.
because it's not just a random thing. If it shows up 3 times, pay attention. There's a reason why it's showing up. So even bringing your awareness and being open to even look at
Hmm.
what could a message from an animal totem give me? Because sometimes when we as human beings, we get sharing information, we put our own spin and our own emotional baggage sometimes in that communication. But from an animal totem, it's a direct and clear message that you're being
Hmm.
given that will mean something to you.
Yeah. And so where would people find that information about the animal totem?
So the animal totems, you can actually just go on Google and look for spirit animals or animal totems. And there's
Mhm.
also a book that you can purchase that is full of every single animal and the message
Mm.
behind the animal. Now, rabbits have a lot to do with fertility or birthing. Now, I know for me, there's a big long message, but for me, obviously, birthing isn't anything that I'm going to be doing anytime soon.
Not
But
physically, no.
no, but that is also birthing ideas. It
Mhm.
specifically says it's physical, or it's birthing new ideas, which is actually something that is I'm in
Mhm.
the process of collaborating,
Mhm.
with yourself and with other people to bring about, you know, more facilitations in different areas.
Mhm.
So that made sense to me. So there's that opportunity to be able to look at spirit animals. And it's neat,
Mhm.
even if you go, no, that's nothing, just pay attention, just play with it. Just if you notice that an owl is sat on the fence and it shows up 3 or 4 times, go check out what an owl means, or a deer crosses your path
Mhm.
3 times, or there's 3 days that cross your path at the same time.
Mm.
Whatever
Yeah.
that is, just humor yourself and go and look, because you never know
Mhm.
what the message is that might be available to you.
Mhm. Yeah, you hear people talking a lot about they see cardinals in their backyard,
Yeah,
and, we know that one's always been connected to spirit
yeah,
and
messages
people
from,
visiting.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that you say rabbits because we have rabbits around here, and we had one hop through our backyard last night, another one this morning. We were out for a walk. There was another one. So I'm going to go look up rabbits. But it makes sense if you're talking about fertility and birthing. I'm like, yeah, I'm in the process of doing a lot of that with my business as well. So it makes a lot of sense that the bunnies are showing up.
It does. It
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. And as you mentioned, pay attention to your dreams. You know, we get a lot of messages in our dreams and different things like that. So the whole process of being open is to observe everything that is shown to you, particularly in a way of even being more childlike. You know, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? I wonder if I pushed this, what would happen? I wonder if I went and looked at that, what would it say? Because that ability to be more open moves you in a direction, because if you're not open, you're closed.
And then you miss it all.
And then you miss it all.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just, I think it's really, really important to reiterate that it will show up quite often in a way you don't expect.
Yeah.
And so that's why
Absolutely.
you need to be really open and paying attention. And
Mhm.
sometimes it'll smack you right in the face and go, here I am. And then
Yeah,
other times it's a little more subtle. But it's
exactly.
there. It's there. So yeah.
So the question you need to ask yourself on a daily basis is just that: am I open or am I closed?
Yeah,
Because you're
I
gonna,
like that.
yeah, am I open or am I closed? And if you're open, pay attention to be open. If you're closed, then no matter what you're asking for, you know, you're not going to see it.
Mhm. Mhm. 100%. 100%. Oh, I've enjoyed today's conversation. This is a good
Me
one.
too, me too. Before we go though, Margaret, I would like
Mhm.
you to share about your teen camp that you have coming up and
Mm,
where people can get the information for that. So if
yes,
you want
excellent. Thank you. Thank you. So the teen camp is called Unshakable Me, and we are hosting it in just outside of Alma, Cedar Hills Schoolhouse. It's happening July 17th to the 21st. It's a day camp for girls. And really, our focus is on teaching them all about self worth and self esteem and building their self confidence and talking about how important it is to just be their authentic selves. Teenage years are really, really, really hard. You could not pay me enough to go back and be a teenager again. And I'm sure every woman out there can understand
oh,
that.
yeah.
And so we do offer these camps. It's our first year doing them. It's life coaches who are running it. We have guest experts like Karen coming in to talk to the girls and teach them a lot about how to just be themselves and be strong in themselves. And I feel so passionate about it because I was bullied a lot as a young teen, and I have a teenage daughter who's 14, and I really want to help make a difference for her. So we're doing a camp there. We are also doing one north of Oshawa in Blackstock at the Souls Path Retreat, and that'll be in August from the 14th to the 18th. But we're really, really excited. So you can register and get more information about the camp at www.unshakable-me.com. That's www.unshakable-me.com. Or you can just DM me and ask for information, and I'll send you whatever you need. But we are so excited. And not only are we hosting this camp for the girls, but we're also looking for sponsorship. So if you feel compelled to participate in some way, shape, or form, we're actually looking to raise some money to be able to send some girls to camp who can't afford to come, because every girl deserves to go to camp. So thank you, Karen, for letting me share that. I appreciate
Oh,
you.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's an
Mhm.
amazing, amazing workshop that you're offering. And as you mentioned, teenage years are very, very difficult. And we're all just doing our best. Parents are just doing their best. The kids are just doing their best. But if you don't have the information at hand, you don't always know what changes to make or what even questions to ask or how to express yourself. So having
Mhm.
this opportunity to get everybody together, all the teens together, and be able to express this with some powerful, powerful coaches that have
Mhm.
a lot of experience with them and a lot of compassion
Mhm.
is amazing, is amazing. So
Mhm.
thank you for sharing that, Margaret. I'm
Thank you.
really happy that you got the opportunity to share that. So for
Thank you.
anybody watching this, please share these videos, because you never know who's going to need this information. There may have been something in here that we say that when you share it, hits somebody in a way that gives them a little piece of information that they've been looking for. Like we said, this doesn't just land on your doorstep for coincidence. There's a reason. So being open to share it and being open to hear it is part of the journey. And for everybody looking for information for Unshakable You, I will put the information in the video below, and you can reach out to Margret and find out more information. So have an outstanding day, everybody. Thank you, Margret.
Thank you, Karen. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye,
You
everybody.
too. Bye.